Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Tuesday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today's June 19th, 2018. And now the news at noon.
According to the Durango Herald, with a photo by Jerry McBride with the Herald, the 416 fire stalled for a third day Monday, showing no measurable growth and minimal amounts of smoke as the 34,161-acre blaze smoldered within its own boundaries. The subdued nature of the fire could change this week as warm temperatures return to the area and fuels dry out from last weekend's rainstorms, according to the federal team overseeing firefighting operations. The front line of battle on the 416 fire moved to the fire's southern edge Monday, where more than 200 firefighters worked to protect homes in the Falls Creek and Junction Creek areas. Rain over the weekend, thanks to the remnants of what once was Pacific Ocean Hurricane Bud, caused the 416 fire to have minimal to no growth, with much of the fire in a state of smoldering and creeping, said Rocky. Mountain Type 1 Incident Management Team spokesman Cameron Beck. Monday evening, Incident Commander Todd Peixoto told the Durango City Council the fire, which started June 1st, would be at 35% containment by the end of the day Monday. A total of 827 personnel are working on the 416 fire and 179 personnel are working on the Burrow fire, he said. The total cost to fight the 416 and Burrow fires was at $18.6 million on Monday. Despite the desperately needed inch of rain over parts of the burn area, weather conditions this week will cause the region to dry out and bring back the potential for fire growth.
From the Journal, photos Emily Rice and Andy Lyon. Crews battling the Burrow fire got back to work on Monday after a weekend of wetting rain that calmed the flames, as Kelsey said. Fire behavior on the Burrow and 416 fires was limited on Monday with little or no growth, and crews focused on mopping up and securing fire lines, according to the day's incident action plan. The rain helped cool it down and lowered the radiant heat of the burning trees, said John Bearer, a public information officer for the Rocky Mountain Incident Management Team. Hand crews worked Monday on fire lines to try to contain the southern end of the fire in the Windy Gap area, north of private land, and expected to continue working on fire lines for the next few days. Bulldozer crews worked to clean up berms on the fire lines northwest and southwest of the fire, removing logs, slash, and trees that could burn and throw embers across the line into protected areas. Mud, not flames, was the challenge of the day. A drying trend was expected to continue through the week. The maximum probability of a fire igniting increased to 45% on Monday, compared with less than 10% on Sunday, the incident team management personnel said. Areas that have been exposed to direct sunlight had the highest chance of igniting, and stumps and logs continued to burn. On Saturday, crews benefited from 0.2 inches of rain, and on Sunday about an inch. The rain, which fell hardest after midnight Saturday, continued until about 8 a.m. Sunday and was about double the wetting rain threshold of a half-inch for timber in a dense tree canopy. Still, incident team managers on Monday encouraged firefighters to remain vigilant, reminding them that dangerous fires have ignited during mop-up stages. An infrared mapping flight on Sunday night showed that the size of the fire was unchanged at 3,715 acres. Containment remained at just 12%. Andy Lyon, public information officer for the incident management team, warned Sunday that residents should not become complacent or overly optimistic. Hot, dry weather is expected to return this week, bringing life back to the fire. High temperatures through Friday were expected to be in the mid to upper 60s, with lows in the mid to upper 40s, according to incident meteorologist Royce Frontenac. There is a chance of isolated afternoon and evening thunderstorms on Thursday and Friday. The Haines Index, which measures the potential for dry, unstable air to contribute to wildfires, was expected to rise through the week. After Sunday's rain, it was at 3. By comparison, it was at 6 during last week's substantial growth. On Monday, the index was at 5 for both the Burrow and 416 fires. A Haines Index of 6 means there's a high potential for an existing fire to become large or exhibit erratic fire behavior. 5 means medium potential, 4 means low potential, and anything less than 4 means very low potential. On Saturday, crews beat the overnight storm to the punch and finished bulldozing more than 6 miles of containment lines in the key northwestern and southwestern sectors of the fire. On Sunday, the bulldozed roads were muddy and difficult, and crews were resting in place, Lyons said. Bulldozer crews on Saturday focused on the fire's west side to clear a line southward near the junction of Forest Road 561 and the Gold Run trailhead. Crews also extended a bulldozer line that runs northwest, roughly paralleling Forest Road 561 west of the more intense flare-ups near Little Bear Trail. Firefighters on Sunday prepared for their next steps. Tree fellers, skidders, and chippers were assigned to reinforce fire lines and remove flammable fuels along the completed bulldozer line in the northeast sector of the fire. With the bulldozed lines complete, firefighters will next clean up fire lines and berms of downed timber and other fuels that could jeopardize the lines if the fire reached them, Lyons said. Then, as conditions improve, crews would ignite back burns to further secure the line and attain containment for the area.
Reported by the Durango Herald, an emergency shelter for evacuees of the 416 fire closed Monday, and while most people have been able to return to their homes, those living homeless in Durango have few options for places to stay. Public lands managed by the San Juan National Forest, Bureau of Land Management, La Plata County, and City of Durango are closed because of high fire danger. As a temporary fix, the City of Durango will allow homeless residents to continue to use outdoor facilities at the emergency shelter at Escalante Middle School for another week. Beyond that, it is not clear where homeless people may go. For the past couple of years, many homeless residents in the Durango area have stayed at a makeshift and technically illegal campsite just west of city limits on property owned by La Plata County. As a result of high fire danger, the La Plata County Sheriff's Office closed the scattered, dispersed campsite in May and moved people to a new location on a barren acre of ground, also located in West Durango. But that site too was closed last week when La Plata County enacted Stage 3 fire restrictions, which closed access to all county open space and public lands. About 55 people living in the temporary camp were given an evacuation notice at 9 a.m. June 12th. Those people were told they would be treated no differently than any other evacuated resident and were given the option to stay at the evacuation shelter at Escalante Middle School. About 40 homeless people went to the shelter, aided by a bus that helped move their belongings. Only 2 or 3 people slept on cots inside the school. The others chose to camp in a field at the school.
Also related to the recent fire activity, the Animas River is running black. Reported in the Durango Herald, photo credit Jerry McBride. The Animas River in Durango ran black Monday as a result of rain over the weekend washing down ash from the 416 fire burn area. Since June 1st, the 416 fire has burned more than 32,000 acres of land, mostly on the San Juan National Forest. A tropical storm off the Pacific coast brought the first moisture the area has seen since the fire broke out. It was also the first chance for local officials to see the 416 fire's influence to both landslides and flash flooding, as well as impacts on waterways. For starters, even small amounts of precipitation can cause landslides and flash flooding in burn areas because of the damage fire caused to the soils, which can no longer absorb moisture. Butch Nalton, director of the La Plata County Office of Emergency Management, said the storm over the weekend didn't drop heavy amounts of rain in a short time period, the equation for significant flooding. Instead, rain fell at a moderate pace over several hours, which Nalton called the perfect prescription that allowed the region to get a healthy dose of rainfall while not creating additional hazards for residents. Still, the threat of landslides and flash flooding will persist for years to come. Nalton said, especially when monsoons arrive, which are known for intense but short durations of rainfall. Scott Roberts, an aquatic biologist for Mountain Studies Institute, said samples were taken over the weekend from Hermosa Creek and also from the Animas River above and below the confluence with the tributary stream. The samples haven't been analyzed yet, but research on rivers from other places that have experienced wildfires shows there is a potential for effects to water quality and aquatic life. Because wildfires wipe out vegetation, more nutrients that would otherwise be consumed by plants get into waterways. An excess of nutrients in the water can cause algae to grow at greater levels and cut off oxygen to aquatic life. John Alves, a senior aquatic biologist for Colorado Parks and Wildlife, said fires can also burn trees that provide shade over streams and rivers, and that allows for cooler temperatures preferred by fish. But by far the largest danger that fires pose is the fact that runoff with high amounts of ash can quickly and suddenly raise the pH of a waterway, causing fish to go into shock and die. Alves said because of the closure of the San Juan National Forest, biologists have not been able to go out on Hermosa Creek or near its confluence with the Animas River to see if there has been fish kill. The 416 fire has yet to reach a stretch of Hermosa Creek that is the target of an extensive native cutthroat trout reintroduction program. Aquatic insects are also at risk, Roberts said. Ash can be deposited and blanket or on the river bottoms, thereby suffocating macroinvertebrates like mayflies, caddisflies, and midges. Sediment loading and increased turbidity also pose water quality issues as a result of ash runoff, Roberts said. Anyone who sees fish kill are asked to report it to CPW.
According to the Durango Herald, in lieu of trains, the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad will send tourists to Silverton by bus. The DNSNG announced Monday that with the reopening of U.S. Highway 550, it will run bus service between the Durango Depot and the town of Silverton starting Tuesday. The train suspended service June 1st with the outbreak of the 416 fire north of Durango. Owner Al Harper has said the DNSNG will not run coal-fired steam engines while Stage 3 fire restrictions are in place. The layover in Silverton will be 3 hours, the DNSNG said in an announcement. And now let's take a look at the weather.
Here's the national weather map from NOAA. Heavy rainfall is still expected along the Texas coast. However, heavy rainfall is also expected from the Central Plains to the Mid-Atlantic this week. There's a moderate risk in Nebraska and Kansas on Tuesday, and slight risks for both Tuesday and Wednesday. As for this afternoon, severe weather and flash flooding are also possible from the Mississippi Valley to New England. The regional area again shows a hazardous weather outlook for eastern Utah and western Colorado. Isolated to scattered thunderstorms are expected from late morning through early evening over the eastern Uinta Mountains and the Elkhead and Park ranges. This activity will produce strong winds to 50 miles an hour with little rainfall reaching the surface. Isolated to scattered thunderstorms are possible over the northern mountains during the afternoon and evening each day during the latter part of the week and through early next week. Skies were mostly clear over much of eastern Utah and western Colorado early this morning. However, some clouds lingered over the eastern Uinta Mountains in response to the weather pattern over the northern Rockies. Meanwhile, a cold front stalled over northeast Utah and extreme northwest Colorado. As the warning states, scattered showers and thunderstorms are predicted over the eastern Uinta Mountains with more isolated activity over the Elkhead and Park ranges from late morning into the afternoon. Moisture levels are indicated to be modest, so don't expect precipitation amounts will go much beyond a tenth of an inch, though the gusty winds of 45 to 50 miles an hour are likely and frankly annoying. Breezy west winds developed this afternoon in the area with a slight shift to the northwest and passage of the cold front, which is expected to reach the San Juans later in the day. This will result in a few degrees of cooling over the northeast Utah and northwest Colorado, with only a degree or two of cooling along the I-70 corridor, while temperatures across the south remain the same or possibly even warm by a degree or two. Dry and sunny conditions will be the rule across the region. Temperatures aren't expected to change much, running just a little below normal across the north and near or just a degree or two above normal in the south. The local DCTV 5-day outlook shows today sunny with a high near 81. South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour becoming west in the afternoon. Tonight clear with a low around 49. West winds 5 to 15 miles an hour becoming north-northwest in the north-northeast in the evening. Then Wednesday sunny with a high near 82 again. North-northeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour becoming northwest in the afternoon. Wednesday night clear with a low around 51. Northwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour becoming east-northeast after midnight. Thursday warming up, sunny with a high near 88 degrees. East-northeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour becoming west in the afternoon. Thursday night mostly clear with a low around 57. Friday sunny with a high near 88. Friday night mostly clear with a low around 54, and into the first weekend of summer it should stay about the same. Saturday sunny with a high near 85 degrees. Saturday night mostly clear with a low around 56. Sunday sunny with a high near 82. Sunday night mostly clear with a low around 51. And now back to the news.
According to the Durango Herald, Colorado's Board of Education has rejected a proposal to have fourth grade students discuss potential benefits of guns. The board voted 4-3 Wednesday to reject standards requiring students to discuss potential dangers and benefits of having weapons at home, in school, and in the community. It left intact potential dangers. Republican board member Deborah Scheffel of suburban Parker sought the rejected language. She says she wants children to feel safe and that focusing exclusively on dangers promotes fear. The vote came as the board was adopting revised standards for Colorado's public and charter educators. Republicans Joyce Rankin of Carbondale and Steve Durham of Colorado Springs joined Shuffle in voting no on the gun language.
Through the Cannabis.co and Denver Post reporting, the Cannabis File Photos, a bill that would protect state marijuana laws from federal interference, received a major plug on Friday when President Donald Trump said he probably would back the measure, introduced a day earlier by 2 U.S. senators. Quote, "I probably will end up supporting it," Trump told reporters during a 20-minute exchange with reporters at the White House, according to Pool reports. In the U.S., 46 states and several territories have legalized marijuana in some fashion, but the drug remains illegal under federal law. The bill by Cory Gardner, Republican of Colorado, and Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, would force Washington to respect states' laws on pot, from medical applications to recreational use. If it disabled because marijuana is illegal at the federal level, cannabis companies face a number of financial obstacles, the biggest being their inability to use banks or bank services. The Gardner-Warren bill would lift that restriction. Still, there would be limitations. For example, the sale of marijuana would be prohibited at rest areas and truck stops, according to a bill summary. Trump's comments Friday build on an earlier discussion he had with Gardner on marijuana. Gardner in Denver on Friday for the Western Conservative Summit welcomed Trump's comments on the bill. He said, "It is a positive sign. I'd spoken to the president Thursday morning before we had introduced the bill, making sure he was familiar with the legislative efforts and reminding him what we had talked about before, about his decision to approach this through a states' rights lens," Gardner said. He liked the idea, the concept, and of course, this morning you saw the same thing where he said that he supported the efforts. He knows exactly what I'm doing and most likely will support it. The measure also got the backing of Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper, who Friday was one of a dozen governors who signed a letter of support. "The federal government needs to provide states adequate space to self-govern," said Hickenlooper. "The issue can no longer be avoided. Ultimately, collaboration with the states will prove critical as the federal government begins to engage on cannabis issues."
According to the Durango Herald, fewer U.S. teens are smoking, having sex, and doing drugs these days. Oh, and they're drinking less milk, too. Less than 1/3 of high school students drink a glass of milk a day, according to a large government survey released Thursday. About 2 decades ago, it was nearly half. That last year's survey asked about 100 questions on a wide range of health topics, including smoking, drugs, and diet. Researchers compared the results to similar questionnaires going back more than 25 years. One trend that stood out was the drop in drinking milk, which started falling for all Americans after World War II. In recent decades, teens have shifted from milk to soda, then to Gatorade and other sports drinks, and recently to energy drinks like Monster and Red Bull. The survey showed slightly fewer kids are drinking soda and sports drinks now compared to the last survey in 2015. Kids have shifted from a dairy product rich in calcium and vitamin D to beverages laden with sugar and caffeine, which is likely contributing to the nation's obesity problem, said Barry Popkin, a University of North Carolina researcher who studies how diets change. For teens, the government recommends 3 cups daily of dairy products, milk, yogurt, or cheese. The survey by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is conducted every 2 years. About 15,000 students at 144 high schools were surveyed last year. The surveys are anonymous and voluntary, and there's no check of medical records or other documents to verify answers.
From the Denver Post at the No Outdoors section, camping at 6 state parks soon will be by reservation only as part of a pilot program intended to make the process more convenient for users. Under the current system, campsite reservations must be made 3 days in advance. After the 3-day window passes, campsites are claimed on a first-come, first-served basis. Under the new system, reservations can be made anytime there are openings, including the day of use, but campers can't just show up and grab what appears to be an unused site. If campers are unaware of the new policy and show up at a campground without reservations, there will be signs explaining how to reserve a spot online or by phone. Campers who occupy a spot without a reservation will be subject to a citation. The pilot program will begin July 1st at 5 of the 41 state parks, including Cheyenne Mountain, 11 Mile, Staunton, St. Vrain, and Trinidad Lake. It will be instituted on 2 loops at Ridgeway beginning on September 15th. If the pilot program works well, it probably will be expanded to all state parks that allow camping. For reservations, you can call 800-244-5613 or reserve online at cpwshop.com.
According to the Durango Herald, with a photo from the Herald, Sam Radke will serve as the interim chief financial officer for Southwest Health System, according to a news release from Southwest Health Public Information Officer Haley Saunders. Radke has an undergraduate degree in accounting and an MBA in healthcare administration from the University of Colorado. He has worked with over 35 hospitals in the Rocky Mountains area, 8 of which have been turnaround situations and had positive outcomes. He has taught healthcare finance and healthcare law at the university level. He is a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives and a past president of the Healthcare Financial Management Association. Radke and his wife Sharon reside in Lakewood, Colorado, and have 2 married sons and 2 granddaughters. Both Radke and interim CEO Tony Suddeth joined Southwest Health from Community Hospital Core Consulting Services.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. This weekend is the first official weekend of summer, and there's no lack of things to do in our area. June 22nd or 23rd, starting at 3 p.m., it's a $40 brewery tour. You get 5 free pints of beer in Montezuma County. Local history and behind-the-scenes look at the local breweries. Use the promotional code BEER and the number 4 FRIENDS when booking. To get more information, you can go online to westadventuretours.com/tritown-brewery-tour. June 23rd is the Mancos Cowboy Half Marathon and 5K Fun Run. Starts at 7:30 a.m., goes to 1 p.m. Starts at the Mancos Public Library. Enjoy beautiful courses offering stunning views of the Mancos Valley and Mesa Verde. The Half Marathon Loop course and Out and Back 5K are a mix of paved and dirt roads. The half distance also includes a challenging trail portion, and there's a free 1-mile fun run for kids. This event is a fundraiser for the Mancos Public Library. June 23rd is also the Perfect Girls Night Out. Hunks, the show, is the world's foremost male revue on tour. The production is an electrifying, high-energy performance showcasing some of the sexiest men alive as they sing, dance, and strip in choreographed routines to thumping beats and dazzling light shows. Millions of women around the world have experienced the heat and thrill of the Hunks, and now it's your turn. Come and see one of the best male revue shows in the world and find out what all the fuss is about. It runs from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Ute Mountain Casino Hotel. Tickets for the event are limited due to capacity and fire code. This event is known to sell out in advance, so it is recommended that all tickets are purchased early. For any questions, you can call 800-690-2631. All of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And be sure to check us out on social media. Our Facebook page is DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.